Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another round of Arbitration Studios. As we cruise into the middle of a failed star and the whole damn thing of Mass Effect 2, I'm JP Arbiter.
And I'm Captain Jack.
And we have taken care of our entire crew's daddy issues, and we are ready to finish this damn story.
Indeed.
So we are going to be boarding a derelict Reaper, and we are going to be harvesting its organs. I mean, stealing its parts.
Same thing, really. I think right away we get shown one of the things I've always loved about Mass Effect from the very beginning, from the first time I opened it up, even with one, is that the visuals are really well done.
I also like the fact that, there's just no amount of stabilizing you can do when you're flying into the turbulence of a gas giant like Jupiter. You're gonna get bumped around.
Indeed. And here we have picked our...
Well, it is a close range fight, so I have picked Jack and Grunt and their shotguns of doom.
Hey, look, you can't go wrong with a Krogan.
Ostensibly Miranda and Garrett, or Miranda and Garrus or Kasumi would have been better because of the Kasumi, because frankly her grenade ability is just freaking insane.
Yeah, that grenade.
And then all three of them have overload, which shields.
Yeah. But Krogan are fun.
Yeah. And Jack doesn't get appreciated enough, even though her gameplay isn't as great as her character.
This is true.
So anyway, this story outlines something that makes the Reapers truly terrifying. This Reaper is dead as a doornail.
Dead.
And yet it is still able to influence people. The crew that Cerberus put on ahead of time, because this was not supposed to be a strike op, it was supposed to be a asset extraction, so it was supposed to be very controlled, very ready to go.
Yeah.
So, it's reasonable that they would have a minimal security presence, because who the fuck is going to fly into the atmosphere of a brown giant?
Exactly. The setup is there. It's, the science team goes in. Really, this is a perfect sci-fi horror movie being built right here. Science team feels it's safe. It goes in, and then the whole.
Well, and I guarantee you that a security team did sweep through at first. So, but what we have is a situation where where the Reaper is still able to influence, even though it's not functional, and manipulate the people on board, its memories, and cross-pollinate and whatnot, which is terrifying.
Yeah. Oh well. Honestly, the Reapers, while being a collection of sci-fi tropes, are a really well put together collection of sci-fi tropes. They are a terrifying enemy,
and they're a risk even when they're dead.
Yes, they are a risk.
How far do you have to dismantle them in order for them to not do this?
Drop them into a failed star. So here we have what I believe is a sign that they could absolutely do a zombie horror game in this style, and it would be terrifying in the best possible way. Is this level, because
I have a plan to talk about that with in Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
But by all means, please continue your thesis.
The first time I played through this, I was playing in the dark. I was playing early in the morning, and...
Were you recently divorced, or had you since remarried?
I had since remarried, and actually, because this had been out when I got divorced, I believe. Maybe not, maybe a little later. But I had played this a little bit, and then was like, nope, I need to play one. Borrowed one from you. Liked it so much I went out and bought myself one, and then played through one, and then came back to this. And so I think that's how that went. But the first time I played through this, the setup was such that it it really there was jump scare going on.
Uh-huh.
I got a good jump scare out of it, and it was there's not when you play through this particular level, there's not an abundance like you're not getting swarmed necessarily
Mm-hmm.
with it's not this, but they do come out of odd areas that you're not really prepared for them to come out of based on the rest of the game.
Well, because they're not, there's some infrastructure here that is built for people to cruise around the thing.
Right.
It makes me wonder because this is also like the closest we get to one experiencing what Saren was doing.
Yeah.
When he used Sovereign as not only an ally but as his personal vessel. So like, did Sovereign allow infrastructure like this to be built? These platforms, these gantries, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because the husks are not adhering to that at all.
No. They
Um,
climb out of nowhere.
And we also get to experience for the first of two times the red husks, the abominations.
Yes.
Husks that explode when they get either too close to you or get destroyed right in your face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pain in the butt.
Thanks. So it's like I said when Vladimir Putin launched his Ukraine war on my birthday. Thanks. I hate it.
Yeah. No. It's there is and throughout Mass Effect, I feel like there are multiple kinds of enemies that only appear once or very limited time, and it's like, these are stupid. I hate them. Please make them go away.
And they do.
And they do. So you feel all right, but at the same time, it's like, why?
Yeah, these shockwave gun reapers are another
Lord,
example, and
yes.
I'm so grateful they don't show up in 3.
Oh, Lord,
they absolutely could have, and I think game mechanic wise there was probably a need for them. Doesn't change the fact that I fucking hate them.
Oh, just fucking hate them.
Even though all they're doing is effectively just Jack's shockwave power.
Yeah,
they exist to fire that.
Yep.
And that one's dead. One down, like 4 more to go, I think.
I think there's 4 more here, if I remember correctly.
I've played this game far too many times if I can count that.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, Vladimir! I didn't know that you hung out here.
Yeah. And we're here. We have
Count Vladimir Tepish, the dragon, gets introduced to marshmallows. Well, these are awesome.
Yeah. The dragon spire, or these the dragon's teeth that they use to make husks from. Like the first time I saw
we're
that,
gonna create a great big hole, and then we're gonna fill that hole with nanites, and it's gonna turn you into a robotic version of yourself.
Yeah, the first time I saw that, which was of course in 1, like it's one of the very first things you see. I was like, oh, this game's going to be like a sci-fi mechanical version of Diablo. It's going to be nothing but body horror. Okay, I get you. I'm down. I was down with it.
Body horror. Let's talk Star Trek body horror for a second. Wait a second.
What? Wait a minute. What?
What the heck?
Yeah. Well, so.
Beep boop bop boop. That's Geth for thanks, I think.
I mean, and why is he wearing N7 pieces?
More importantly, why is he speaking, let alone speaking English?
Oh, that's a really good question.
And walking away.
Oh, that much I know. I mean, I would walk away from people too. People are awful.
So let's talk body horror and let's talk Star Trek and body horror.
Okay, let's do that.
I've had this weird, not a theory, not a hypothesis, just a question.
Okay.
All right. Holodecks.
Yes.
With holographic food.
Yes.
Now, with if the safety programs are initiated in a holodeck,
Mm-hmm.
and you lived on a holodeck for a protracted period of time, and I think Nog did that for like a quarter of a season of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, although in his case, he was probably having food brought in from his uncle and dad. But if you ate nothing but holographic food in a holodeck, would the holodeck's computer like start patching on holographic parts to keep you alive, and eventually would you become a hologram?
No.
Sort of like what the best analog I can think of that was Doctor Weir in Stargate Atlantis, how
Yeah.
and how replicating
Ah,
goop got into her wounds.
and now we have two.
And I punched that one to death because I am
I got a
goddamn fisty.
And when in doubt,
Fist.
fist. um, so I think at least the modern versions of the holodeck, i.e., the ones that you see in Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and whatsoever, are the holodeck is actually a combination of technologies.
Yeah.
One of those technologies being their replicator technology.
Well, and I'm saying that, I'm not talking about that like food and drink inside a holodeck would be replicated food and drink where it's functionally created and just as nutritious. I'm saying that what if it was a pure simulation?
Oh well, in the case of it being a pure simulation, you just starved to death because you weren't really eating anything.
But yeah. Anyway. So you don't think that the safety protocols would be like, okay, we got to keep this guy going, so we got to like do holographic simulated carbohydrates and have the body run off of that?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I don't think it would. Um, uh, uh,
Well, there goes my Star Trek pilot.
well, I mean,
Reginald Barclay becomes what he's been addicted to.
Oh Lord. Lord.
Yep.
It does sound like an SCP. Whoa.
Here's the thing about Reggie Barclay. As cringe of a character as he was, he did make Commander.
He did,
So he is a competent, probably brilliant officer and scientist.
Yeah, I just think that he unintentionally, for the writers, I don't think maybe they had intended this, but I think he definitely showcased, although I think that the Orville did it better, but he definitely showcased why or how the holodeck could be abused, and that the holodeck was maybe necessarily should have some rules to it.
Well, a lot of that can be handled just by privileges and ration time and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
but you get my point.
Yeah.
So here we have, I think, the last two of the cannons, of the walking cannons. At least in this one. Honestly, right here, again, a spot the first time I played through and the last time I played through always gives me a little hiccup, just because of the physical, like how it's set up, and how every time I think I've killed all of the husks, a few more pop up.
Yep. I've run into that problem a few times.
And also, I'm like a terrible shot in anything that requires shooting. I am awful at.
Video games, real life, it doesn't matter.
I qualified. That's the best I could say.
Way to show basic competence.
Yes, I possess basic competence with the firearms that are generally used by the United States military. That is the best I can say.
That would be the Mossberg 500 shotgun, the AR-15, and in your case, the Beretta M9, because the SIG 320 hadn't been adopted yet.
That is correct. Although I do, when I first learned, it was on a M16A1.
Oh God.
And then
I mean, it's still an AR-15 platform, but
my second time was the A2, and then of course I qualified with the M4.
I know that all the gun bros love um their modern Picatinny skeletonized things, but there is just a certain beauty to the A2. It's the M16 A2.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, and oh!
it's the
See that right there? That it happened. Like it was. I thought you think you'd kill them all, and then all of a
you
sudden
got on the wrong side of Fisty.
one shows up and they need a good fisting. Yeah, I mean, and I'm when it comes to
Uh
what's going on here? What do we have here?
oh.
That is a gap.
Pew 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 pew. Pew.
He's in a yeah.
He's downloading stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I do love that as a computer system, he doesn't actually need to interact with the keys. It's just hovering over it is how he can wirelessly connect to it.
Indeed, and there we see Jack's use of the of that talent, which is far more effective than the Reaper's use
Oh
of it.
Christ! I forgot about this. I accidentally. Yeah, it's fixed when you switch your guns, but I was facing locked there.
Mm.
It's like crosshairs moving, but the body ain't, and pew. Give him the taser, Shepard.
Indeed, give them the taser.
I could have pulled out the cane on this. I don't think I pull out the cane once in this playthrough. I could be wrong though. All right, open up. Show me them pearly whites. Damn it!
Stupid.
Cut it out, fart knocker.
Dang, they're relentless and annoying.
And absolutely no respect for my personal space.
None.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
None. No respect for. Well, one of my issues, of course, is that melee combat in all of the Mass Effects, the game is very good at melee combat. The player is not. Like, you have to be in the exact right spot to get a good fisting. I mean, which is
hang tight. We gotta pause so I can steal money.
well, I mean, capitalism.
I think I finally pinned down, by the way, what the exchange rate is for galactic credits to US dollars. It's about 17 cents.
Well,
So stuff in the galaxy is actually really cheap.
well, I would imagine there's a lot of what comes with the technology advancement. A lot of things that we currently spend a whole lot of money on are no longer, rare. There's a lot of resources that are, if you have space travel, a lot of resources that keep prices high all of a sudden become not as
Things like hydrogen and water and healthcare.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's just on the planet. That healthcare in other places.
Oh, don't pretend for a moment that a Volus would not ration out healthcare economically just for the sake of making a few bucks.
Oh yeah. But that's why Americans and Volus get along so well.
Thank God Shepard is Canadian if he's Earthborn.
Thank goodness.
That's actually a sci-fi trip that I really love is the whole idea of Canada slowly taking over the world.
With politeness. I like that.
BattleTech does it.
I'm as someone of Canadian descent, I am behind this. Canada quietly taking over, but here we are. We're making an escape.
Well, not yet. That was Joker having to disconnect.
We're carrying this Geth, which is, by the way, like, I never paid attention to what Geth looked like until right now, looking at that guy.
Their platforms are very, very similar to Quarian physiology, which is actually a really great hack because, I mean, we make robots that look human instinctively, so why would the Quarians not make robots that look like Quarians?
And now we show that we show the Reaper that there is one force in all the universe they cannot beat.
Agatha Christie. So yeah, this whole thing is also a backdoor into recruiting a new last minute squad mate, Legion, the Geth platform. And this is where I think that, and we'll talk more about this when we do Legion's mission last minute, but we finally get a lot of understanding from him about the Geth, like how Geth platforms are not an individual.
Right.
They're essentially a apartment block.
Yeah. That's
or a household.
They're a collective.
No, each they're not a collective because each virtual intelligence that is an individual and expresses itself as an individual, it's a very basic individual.
Yeah.
But they act in concert. They are a collective they are a collective, but they're not a hive.
Yes,
they're not a singular consciousness, but they are a community.
Yes.
If we activate it, there's no guarantee we can deactivate it.
And Legion, the average Geth platform contains about 10 independent virtual intelligences that work in concert, and has the processing capacity of your average trained dog. But all of the other platforms in concert will enhance that processing power, just like networking computers together speeds up processing power. Legion is special because he has something to the order of 3,000 intelligences in him. He is purpose built.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't honestly remember exactly, but I will say this: with the first,
we'll get a precise number later.
Yeah, the first time I played through this, of course, the feeling I had when this came about was, what's going on? And I still get that a little bit with the Legion because of the tacking him on this way, and because he's helping you, and because for a game and a half or a game for almost 2 games, the Geth have been the enemy. They have been the main shock troops of the bad guys.
And then here's this one who is saying, not all Geth are bad, and frankly, and it's really great game design on the part of BioWare, we have the opportunity to not even take the gamble.
Right.
Here. We have
Absolutely.
the opportunity to just sell him off to the elusive man sight unseen.
Yeah.
Or just leave him here.
Yep. Absolutely.
Which is pretty incredible. But BioWare was also playing off of the fact that, gamers are gamers and gamers are curious, so, having a friendly Geth means, we get to learn more about the Geth and the lore and whatnot. And crafted a pretty amazing story about what the Geth are really like, that they're more than just nameless Borg drones.
Yeah, they are true AI, and they, not only being true AI, they are true AAI. So they are true alien artificial intelligence, in the sense that, well, yes, you can communicate with them. Their worldview is so much different than anyone else's. For instance, they don't hold grudges. They don't hold, they're not angry at anybody. They're not doing whatever they do out of a sense of...
Their action is entirely based on a math equation to get to some sort of homeostasis.
Yeah, and they just want to exist.
And really what we see here, because as Legion is going to elaborate on, a swath of the Geth, and this is why I say they're not a true hive mind, they are a commune, because there's a sufficient number of Geth programs who their equation branches off on a completely different conclusion.
Yeah.
And that's it is fascinating because, and it's simplified down so well with the with that whole the best way to say it is that true Geth And yeah, I don't like the word true on that, but
No.
that's what Legion uses because he's expressing a bias.
Yes.
Um,
Which is
for true Geth, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. For the heretic Geth, 2 is less than 3. Both are correct.
yeah.
Both are valid equations, and taken in a complete vacuum because the other side is that Geth don't have a value system. They don't place value on abstract
Mm-hmm.
ideas, like morality, that that they have to be treated as valid, and that both groups and that the group should be allowed to break off and see their experiment go forward.
I would make an observation, not a disagreement, because I don't entirely disagree. But
Ah,
their
1183.
um, their way of thinking within themselves, because they don't have they don't lie to each other.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have duplicity with each other, except when they get like they can get smart enough and whatnot but they don't they have a culture that is connected,
Mm-hmm.
and so they have radical empathy. They can look at another person's or another being's point of view and respect it in such a way that they don't see that point of view as being a threat to themselves until it is
A threat
becomes
to
a
themselves.
threat. So there is a perfect example of why the idea of taking empathy to that point where you're like every idea is completely valid and we need to allow is actually detrimental to the society as a whole.
The other side of that being that the there is this belief that you can always stop before the completion of the equation. That
Mm-hmm.
there's no that with sentient decision making abilities that there is no such thing as a point of no return until you cross that equal sign.
Right.
And the only thing that happens at that equal sign is equation complete, here is your output. There's no concept of political or societal momentum.
That's they have no concept of political uh, kind of stuff. Like they're alien.
Mhm.
They are an alien intelligence to what ours is. Now they have some stuff similar and whatnot, and I think you kind of the more you communicate with Legion, the more there's kind of a thing. But um, there is the
Here's that
anthropomorphizing.
math error
Yep.
part.
Uh, the there is a tendency as players and then even the characters in the game to anthropomorphize and to put human emotions onto what is essentially a alien intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
We look at the Reapers as evil because they're trying to execute a equation that they came to, that says if we do not do this, X will happen.
Mm-hmm.
X bad will happen. So too with the Geth, they because of their different way of thinking. This doesn't mean that they are incapable of the same range of thought processes and emotions and all of these kind of things. It just means that they approach them radically different than humans.
But it also means that they can't account for the things that they don't, because there's no tangible value to, again, I argue they can't process emotionally because they can't experience it. They don't have, because because they experience the universe purely as software, purely as electrical impulses. They don't get the chemical influx of adrenaline and cortisol and other things that would make a human being inherently aggressive.
Their responses and their, for lack of a better term, emotional responses are not based in biology.
Mm-hmm.
They are based in intellect.
Hmm.
They are based in
More so than even Vulcans in Star Trek, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, absolutely. They are not. See, I don't view them as datas.
But that is more to something for us to explore next time when we help Legion out before helping ourselves. So
Indeed.
until then, we'll see ya.
Deuces.